Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. I am Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, Governor Adeleke calls for peaceful dialogue between Nigeria and the U.S. Kwankwaso rebukes President Trump's warning, calls for U.S. cooperation, not intervention. Bayelsa deputy governor said to be impeached over refusal to join governors in APC. Newly inaugurated Nawa president pledges greater support for military families. Police assure maximum security ahead of Anambra governorship election. On business, NGX Group declares ₦1 interim dividend, sustains shareholder value creation. Zenith Bank profit rises to 917.4 billion naira as earning hits 3.3 trillion naira. On the foreign scene, Vietnam flood death rise as new storm tracks towards coast. China extends visa-free policy by 1 year. On sports, Zaidu Sanusi's lack of game time at Porto raises concerns for coach Eric Cheller. Nigeria's trio set for World Sambo Championship in Kyrgyzstan. Now the news. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has appealed for renewed diplomatic engagements between Nigeria and the United States in response to recent tensions sparked by U.S. President Donald Trump's comments on Nigeria's security situation. In a statement issued on Monday by his spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, Governor Adeleke urged both nations to prioritize dialogue and cooperation within the framework of their long-standing and productive diplomatic relationship. The governor expressed sympathy to families affected by insecurity in northern Nigeria, describing the U.S. leader's comment as a wake-up call for stronger action. He stressed the need for Nigeria to intensify counter-terrorism operations while strengthening collaborations with international allies. Governor Adeleke called on the international community, particularly the United States, to expand its technical and logistical support to Nigeria's security agencies rather than considering unilateral military intervention. The governor also commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his diplomatic efforts to ease tensions and reassure international partners of Nigeria's commitment to peace and accountability. Governor Adeleke emphasized that bipartisan support for Nigeria's national security leadership was essential to ensuring stability and deepening democratic governance. Still on the issue, New Nigerian People's Party NNPP 2023 presidential candidate Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has called on the United States to back Nigeria with advanced security technology rather than threaten military intervention over allegations of Christian persecution. Framing President Trump's remarks as inflammatory and counterproductive, Alhaji Kwankwaso said Washington should focus on strengthening Nigeria's security capacity instead of heightening tensions. He stressed that Nigeria's security challenges are driven by a diverse criminal network, not a singular religious conflict, insisting that insecurity affects Nigerians across faiths and ethnicities. Positioning himself as a pro-dialogue voice, Alhaji Kwankwaso urged the Nigerian government to intensify diplomatic engagement with Washington. He advised appointing special envoys and filling vacant ambassadorial posts to prevent mischaracterization of Nigeria's internal dynamics. He also appealed for national unity, warning Nigerians against divisive rhetoric at a sensitive moment. Bayelsa State Deputy Governor Mr. Lawrence Ekrujakpo is now facing an impeachment threat ahead of the defection of his superior to the ruling party APC. His refusal to leave the People's Democratic Party and join Governor Duoye Diri in the All Progressives Congress has triggered a serious political showdown in the state. Lawmakers in the Bayelsa State House of Assembly are reportedly moving to remove him from office. The tension began shortly after the governor formally resigned from the PDP on October 15 and prepared to defect to the APC. Insiders say the assembly has already started the process, allegedly on the governor's instruction. The deputy governor, however, quickly approached the Federal High Court in Abuja last week, seeking an order to stop the lawmakers from proceeding with the impeachment. Speaking during the state's 14th annual Thanksgiving service in Yenugua, Governor Diri defended his move to the APC. He insisted his defection was a strategic decision for the benefit of Bayelsa and for peace with the federal government. He also emphasized that politics should focus on growth and unity. The political shift has drawn reactions from key figures. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Henikin Lokbobiri, praised the move, calling it a strategic alignment with the center and subtly warning against disloyalty, a comment seen as directed at Erujakbo. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborobweri, represented by his advisor Funke Keme Solomon, urged Bayelsans to remain united, noting that progress depends on peace. However, Mr. Erujakbo's loyalty to former Governor Seriake Dixon, who is a key PDP figure, and his political mentor is said to be the main reason he refused to defect. As the drama unfolds, the Anambra has already taken on new colors. Fresh APC banners now line major roads, while PDP flags have been removed from key government locations. This is a clear sign of shifting power in the oil-rich state. Newly inaugurated President of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOWA, Mrs. Safiya Shoibo, has pledged to enhance welfare, empowerment, and educational programs for families of serving, retired, and fallen soldiers. Mrs. Shoibo, who becomes the 25th president of the association, succeeded Mrs. Marinan Oluyede, now serving as president of the Defense and Police Officers' Wife Association, DEPOWA. The handover ceremony was held in Abuja, according to a statement by NAOWA license officer Bayomi Oni Orison. She said that the administration would focus on sustainability, inclusion, and innovation to strengthen family support systems within Army communities and build on existing initiatives that promote education, healthcare, and women's empowerment. The Anambra State Police Command says it is fully prepared to ensure the safety of lives and property before, during, and after the November 8th governorship election. The Commissioner of Police, CP in Adamawa, CP Ikyoye Orutugu, made this known in a statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO, SP Tochukwu Ikenga in Oka. The Commissioner of Police said all tactical units, intelligence teams, and patrol formations in Anambra had been placed on heightened alert with adequate logistics and coordination established with other security agencies. He stated that the command was fully prepared and fortified to ensure the protection of lives and property before, during, and after the governorship election. The assurance came at the end of a statewide engagement on election security with officers and men across police formations in the state. CP Orutugu commended the officers for their dedication and discipline throughout the advocacy campaign, which covered all area commands and division in the state. He emphasized the importance of neutrality, professionalism, and respect for human rights by the police personnel during election duties. He also used the opportunity to encourage members of the public to remain law-abiding and security-conscious. This is ComfortTV.channel news. Will return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ComfortTV.channel. In the world of business, Nigerian Exchange Group PLC, NGX Group, or the group, has announced the declaration of an interim dividend of 1 naira per ordinary share of 50 kobo each, following the approval of its unaudited financial statements for the third quarter ended 30 September 2025 at the meeting of its board of directors. According to a statement from the NGX, the interim dividend will be paid to shareholders whose names appear in the register of members as at the close of business on Friday, 7 November 2025, while payment will be remitted electronically to qualified shareholders on Tuesday, 18 November 2025. Commenting on the announcement, the chairman NGX Group, Alhaji Dr. Umaru Kwairanga, stated that the declaration of the interim dividend reaffirms the board's confidence in NGX Group's solid fundamentals and long-term growth outlook. The outgoing president and chairman of Council of the Institute of Capital Market Registrars, ICMR, Mr. Oluseyi Owotoro, has urged registrars to embrace innovation and efficiency in service delivery to strengthen trust and deepen participation in Nigeria's capital market. Still on business, Zenith Bank PLC has posted a profit before tax of 917.4 billion naira for the 9 months ended September 30, 2025, as its gross earnings earnings climbed 16% year-on-year to 3.37 trillion naira from 2.9 trillion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2024. The unaudited financial results released to shareholders on the Nigerian exchange showed that the growth in gross earnings was driven mainly by a 41% surge in interest income to 2.7 trillion naira, bolstered by a high yield rate environment and an expanded investment portfolio. Interest expense also rose by 22% to 814 billion naira following a tightening monetary policy and growth in the bank's funding base. Despite this, the bank maintained a healthy net interest margin of 12% compared with 10% in September 2024. Non-interest income, however, dropped by 38% to 535 billion naira following a 60% decline in trading gains. Profit before tax stood at 917 billion naira, slightly below the 1 trillion naira recorded in September 2024, while profit after tax fell by 8% to 764 billion naira, compared with 26.34 naira in the same period last year, reflecting the bank's deliberate measures to strengthen asset quality and manage credit risk. Onto the foreign news, the death toll in Vietnam from last week's record-breaking downpours has climbed to 37 as another powerful storm bears down on the country's coast and floodwaters rise again in some tourism hubs. The National Weather Agency warned that river levels are rising rapidly and there is a risk of further flooding in the historic city of Hue, which saw more than 1,700 millimeters of rain within 24 hours last week, just short of the global record. More heavy rain is forecast from Quang Tri to Da Nang, with some areas expecting over 600 millimeters, the Bureau said. Vietnam has been hit by 12 major storms so far this year, which have left at least 241 dead and cost the economy more than 58.8 trillion dong, which equals $2 billion. Its 3,000-kilometer coastline makes it particularly vulnerable to cyclones, according to meteorologists, and climate change has increased the country's exposure to storm-related damage. Now another powerful storm is bearing down on the Southeast Asian nation. Typhoon Kalmegi is expected to move across the warm waters of the South China Sea this week, with the Hong Kong Observatory currently predicting it will hit southern Vietnam as a severe typhoon on Thursday or Friday. The system currently off the east coast of the Philippines could dump more heavy rain and damage crops in Vietnam's main coffee-growing region. Still on the foreign scene, China has announced an extension of its visa exemption policy for several countries, including France, as part of efforts to promote international exchanges and revive global tourism. The policy, which allows short-term entry without a visa, will now remain in effect until December 31, 2026. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Ms. Mao Ning said in Beijing that the government had decided to prolong the visa exemption arrangement for France and other countries already benefiting from the initiative. She explained that the move reflects Beijing's commitment to deepening people-to-people ties, enhancing business travel and supporting post-pandemic recovery in the tourism sector. Ms. Mao also disclosed that beginning November 10, 2025, Swedish citizens will be added to the list of those eligible for visa-free entry into China, with the same exemption period extending through the end of 2026. On sports, Super Eagles defender Zaidu Sanusi is facing growing uncertainty at FC Porto, raising concerns ahead of Nigeria's upcoming World Cup playoffs under coach Eric Chelle. Since the last international break, Sanusi has played only 33 minutes of football for the Portuguese club, his most recent appearance coming in a 2-0 Europa League defeat to Nottingham Forest on October 23. The left-back has been omitted from Porto's matchday squad in 4 of their last 5 fixtures across all competitions, despite being fully fit. His limited involvement has sparked questions about his match sharpness as the Super Eagles prepare for a crucial stage in their qualification campaign. 28-year-old Sanusi has impressed during Nigeria's last outing against Benin, stepping in effectively at left-back. His strong performance could still influence Chelle's selection even with his lack of club minutes. Nigeria will make its second appearance at the 2025 World Sambo Championship in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan from November 7 to November 9. Organized by the Fédération Internationale de Sambo, the event is the top global competition for sports sambo, combat sambo, and blind sambo. Nigeria will be represented by Fatai Balogun, Samuel Kekere, and Sodiq Ajibade in combat and blind sambo categories. Balogun will contest the men's 88-kilogram combat sambo. Kekere, the first African to compete in blind sambo, will feature in the men's 64-kilogram event. Ajibade will make his debut in the men's 98-kilogram blind sambo and is targeting a podium finish for Nigeria. Kekere expressed excitement about his second appearance, praising Fiyaz and crediting Sharif Hamad for supporting the team's participation. This year's championship will host elite sambis worldwide across sports sambo, combat sambo, and blind sambo categories. The prize fund totals $341,000 with equal rewards for all events. Gold medalists earn $4,000, silver $3,000, and bronze $2,000. Sports sambo will use group stages with repechage, while combat sambo will take place without repechage rounds. Sambo Association of Nigerian President Robert Howell and Vice President Sharif Ahmed are expected at the World Congress. And that's our news bulletin for the evening. But before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. Governor Adeleke calls for peaceful dialogue between Nigeria and the U.S. Kwankwaso rebukes President Trump's warning, calls for U.S. cooperation, not intervention. Bayelsa deputy governor said to be impeached over refusal to join governor in APC. Newly inaugurated Naowa president pledges greater support for military families. Police assure maximum security ahead of Anambra governorship election. On business, NGX Group declares ₦1 interim dividend, sustains shareholder value creation. Foreign saying Vietnam flood death toll rises as new storm tracks toward coast. And sports, Zaidu Sanusi's lack of game time at Porto raises concern for coach Eric Chelle. Thank you for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews, and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.